So we often hear, as we're working with our client partners out there, that they know they should be developing their people's skills and knowledge, and I mean, they just intuitively know that, but they don't have. They feel like they don't have the time, they don't have the energy to do that. So how do we approach that? How do we help them develop their people and still keep the business running? And
so one thing I think that we start with is that that's the experience, that's the reality that they're living with. That they're time starved.
Yeah.
They're traveling at warp speed, and they also at the same time recognize that one of the advantages that they have in attracting people is that it's a great place to work, or
right.
It's a place that's exciting and people are learning.
Yeah.
And then over time that deteriorates because people are so focused on results short term. All right, so how do you resolve it? So I think that the place that you begin is by treating development in a different way than thinking about it as formal training.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this is one of the biggest shifts that I went through personally in realizing that I had an old way of thinking about development. And I'm a learning and development professional. That's been my whole career.
Right.
And I think that I've been talking to leaders and managers about skill development, go to a class, come back.
Butt and seat.
Yeah, but in the
butt
seat.
and seat time.
Yeah. But all the research points to the fact that on-the-job training is the most powerful form of development.
By far.
So here are three facts. Number one is that managers, leaders have contact with their people anyway. Why not use it as a development time, right?
Yeah.
So then the second fact is that just by thinking about what is it that this person could be learning, that for me at this point is old hat, that I already know how to do this, I could delegate it, or I could give them an opportunity to go learn with somebody else who's a star performer.
Right.
To them, that's considered development.
Right.
And then the third fact is that when somebody is learning on the job, you've now increased their capacity.
Yeah.
And you've also increased their capability.
Yep.
And by doing that, it has a reverse effect on you, and that is that now you have more capacity because you've passed on something to them to be able to take on that for you is routine.
Right.
So we think of it really not as overhead. It's not like if you were going to compute it, you wouldn't say, well, this is a cost.
Right.
It's actually an asset. The asset being that you're constantly thinking about, if we have to get there, if these are the business requirements on our company, we can't do it with the people that we have right now, with the skills that they have right now.
Right.
They have to develop over time. How are we going to develop them while at the same time having them do what they're required to do now? Well, the answer is that you make sure that you as a manager, because you are the one who's responsible for development.
Right.
You as a manager are thinking ahead and saying, what can I do that's a task, project, or opportunity that's going to grow their capability?
Right. With your coaching, with your involvement.
Yeah, or maybe not even mine. I mean,
or
I
having peers, coach peers. Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't help but wanting to share one of our key clients, a very large biotech company that we're continuing to work with, has just getting so much leverage out of social media in technology and using it as a development tool.
Oh, so give me an example.
Well, I mean, they've gone nuts buying Apple iPads. Practically, this may not be for every company that can afford this, but they're buying thousands of iPads.
So they see this as a productivity tool.
Yeah, and just about everybody in the company now, if they want one, has an iPhone, and they've developed all these ways of sharing. Creating little learning communities around projects, and they're constantly sharing with each other information, skills, knowledge. So it's kind of like fully. Yeah.
So this is a really interesting, because this goes back to this key point that we've been making several times.